welcome everyone to our Virtual Worlds Education Consortium Metaverse Expert Series. We're glad to see you here today, and if you have joined us for today's very interesting presentation and discussion, you're in for a grand treat. Everyone is also invited to an extended chat with our speaker at the other end of the deck for an informal conversation, Q&A, after the presentation. For those of you who are new today, our website is www.vweconsortium.org, and you can find VWEC on many social media channels at this Linktree link. After today's presentation, we may move over to the deck, as I mentioned, for a more informal conversation for those of you who are able to stay for the social time. We're pleased to be able to offer our expert series presentations in both text and chat. Text, for anyone who may not be using voice, is shared on our YouTube live stream. We want you to know we have a survey planned. We may be bringing that back to get a survey about how you found out about VWEC. We want to thank you for joining us today for this very interesting presentation. I'm excited to be hosting today, as I have been to the Center for the Arts, and I highly recommend it as a beautiful space for art and music in Second Life. So I'm happy to introduce our Metaverse Expert Series speaker for today, Cesar Lighthouse. Cesar Lighthouse is our presenter, and he's a software engineer with experience in international projects and also experience in many fields of art and production of art and cultural events in the physical world. Today, he will be presenting From Learners to Leaders in Virtual Worlds. We're really glad you're here today, Cesar. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Cesar Lighthouse to tell us about the Center for the Arts. Cesar?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I hope that you can hear me. I'll to speak slowly. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Well, it's really nice to be able to the Center for the Arts and talk a little about what we are doing and how we are doing it. We opened the Center for the Arts in November 2024. We expect the Center for the Arts to be able to be a thriving hub where creative minds from diverse fields can connect and collaborate and inspire each other. Inspiration is like a good virus that we can contagiate, and I have seen this happening in Second Life plenty of times. The Center for the Arts in Second Life is the first step of this project. We expect to be able to grow beyond Second Life and to be able to use our presence in Second Life in the metaverse as a bridge between possible centers in the physical world in the future. As Val mentioned, that we have art and vision, but we also have music. We have events. When we open a new exhibition, we open the voting, the photo contest voting. We always try to have live music and not just very well-known musicians in Second Life, but bring new musicians that are not so known, acoustic musicians. We have, for example, one of the performers that we have many times. She's a pianist and a singer from Argentina. We have a saxophonist, Steve Wu from Scotland. So we try to showcase how much as we can of art in Second Life. and we expect people to visit, to meet each other, and I see that happening in our events. And for example, people who enter our photo contest, they meet, they talk about photography, and they talk about art in Second Life. So we create a community step by step. We opened in 2024, as I mentioned, and so far we have opened two art galleries. The Astral building that I will talk a bit more soon is our main building, and it's not just an art gallery, but it's also an art gallery. And we opened the Snapshot Gallery, a new concept of gallery based on our Flickr group, where we give exhibition to 12 different photographers every month, 12 different photos from 12 different photographers. Again, building the community, they have the chance to see each other's work and to be present in the same space in Second Life, talk with each other, discuss, make friendship, create connections, share. And so we have the photo contest every month. We have a arts theater that we opened in February 2025, where we present performing art performances, which include music and dancing and particles and objects and everything. Not only performance shows that we produce, that we create, but we also have invited other groups to present at the second for the arts, at the Center for the Arts, their own show. So we have had already groups present there. And in October 2025, we opened the art fair. So we created the art fair. It's a concept, once again, a new concept. And second, it's an hybrid between an art festival and shopping event. In this shopping event, what we have new creators and new ideas. We have creators of items for art, or we have, like, for example, tools and backdrops and poses for photography. If you want to make photography, we have 3D creators. And we also had present real life artists showing their work that they do, and their links to their website. We have many real life artists present in Second Life showing here. And we also had present several Second Life art project communities that use the art fair to give more exposure to their community and what they are doing. So how did this all happen, or how this happened with me? How did I have this idea? The truth is, I have always been very inclined to art since I was very young. I was always drawing. I was always painting. My primary teacher used to call me my artist. I was her artist. And I have been involved with art in many forms since a very young age. I was 12 years old when I started singing in choirs. I started to play in bands when I was 15. I started to sing in bands when I was 16. I was involved with dance groups since I was 14, and I was involved in these art and cultural events that go when we have, for example, some event with singing and dancing. There are so many things that go with it. Besides the singing and the dancing, there are the scenarios, making the costumes and everything. It's an incredible universe of creativity, and I saw people getting together to do this and feel an immense pleasure creating things, discovering things, having ideas and sharing the ideas. So this was a great, great experience. And when I joined Second Life in 2011, I was I was curious about the potential for creativity in Second Life, and that's what made me stay in Second Life. For years, I was just exploring my inspiration, creating whatever I would feel like. I would feel inspired to do something, create something, and then sharing my creations with other people. And in 2013, I opened my first art gallery in Second Life. I had recently learned photography in real life and had started some real life photography projects. So I used that art gallery to show some of my photography projects um, as a matter of sharing. Hopefully, um, some people would become curious and would feel inspired, and that's what happened. People would ask me questions about the photos, how I did this, how I did that, what was the idea behind the photos, and it was a very interesting idea and a very interesting experience having that gallery back in 2013. I continued to stay involved with the art circle in Second Life, especially with photography. I was part of Focus magazine, where I developed art galleries and started to shine light on singers, musicians, DJs, and so that's what that until I finally opened the Center for the Arts, which was an idea that I had. I had the concept of the Center for the Arts back in 2020, and I finally opened it at the end of 2000. So the Center for the Arts. So the idea is big. How do I start? I started by building the first building, which is the ASOLab, uh, designed to be a multifunctional space where we can have exhibitions, but we can also have technical information and cultural information, um, all aligned with what we want to do. If you visit the Center for the Arts, you will see that we have there, for example, examples of when art was used to build bridges and as a form of healing uh, after the fall of the wall in Berlin, um, after the genocide in Rwanda. Those are examples. Art was built as a way to create a bridge between people that were separated. Um, so I created that astrolab with those thoughts in mind, using the architecture of the building itself as a form of communication, of passing a message. We are going to see that in more detail. And giving the example of incorporating principles, artistic principles in it. It's a practical example. And chose to do it with trims so that to give the example that everybody can create something independently of how technically resourceful they are. We can create something independently of how technically resourceful we are. If we want to create something, we can create something according to what we know how to do, the tools that we have, um, but we can still do it. And and we have more projects that are also aligning us for people to discover that they can do something. And if they feel inclined to do something, they can do something. Because I see a lot of people having ideas in Second Life and then giving up on them very easily because I don't have the technical ability to create that. You start by creating with the technical ability that you have, and then you can You can increase your technical ability, you discover what you need to learn more so that you can do that. And as a team for why is a team of exploration? Because I see the path of an artist as a path of exploration. I see the path of the artist as a path of exploration, and not just exploring new techniques, new tools, new environments, new things, but it all comes down to exploring his inner world and what we think and how we feel. Um, so we want this exploration theme. So um, the building itself is inspired by the Portuguese explorers and the Portuguese discoveries. We encourage visitors to journey and engage in what we have inside. And we mentioned that, and we mentioned what is the astrolabe and the journey of the explorer and so on. So the first step was to build the basic blocks, the building, the main building in the areas, and then we have the team. And then, of course, to do more things, we need more people. And it's not just because we need, but because that's also the intention to have people engaged in doing things. And it's always an opportunity because I know that I love to be engaged in things and taking part in projects. So the Center for the Arts is open for people to come and to help us do things and do projects. So for us to give the first step from having just an exhibition, having a performing arts theater, we had to create a group of choreographers that are willing to take part in this project. And we were able to have our first dance performance show. With these dance performances are not just dance; they have objects moving scenarios, they have particles, they have everything. It's an incredible performance, and to have the photo contest and to have the photo contest again. Who is interested in doing this, enjoy doing this, and taking part in this and seeing all the photos and enjoy all that. So we had someone join who was passionate about that and would enjoy doing that. And as we continue, other members joined the team. One of them is here, Wumalu. Wumalu is our events manager. It's kind of our manager, period. Transitioning to be our manager because as we grow and as we have more people working and um, more initiatives, more events, we all need to be on the same page. We all need to help each other. So who is kind of like my at this moment at the Center for the Arts. I know that I can count on her if I am not present to help the other team members with anything. And we are looking for new team members to be able to embrace new projects that we have. So if anyone ever feels inclined, we are looking for people. Now, this is that thing that we always have to talk about, which is financial sustainability in Second Life. But Second Life is a micro economy, and it's very difficult to have any project that is sustainable in Second Life. Especially when we are talking a project that is non-profit oriented. So when we don't base our efforts in getting some profit, then how can we maintain the project? The model that we have is through sponsors. We have sponsors, and we work very hard to have our sponsors, and we work very hard to give them as much exposure as we can. How we were able to open in November, and that's how we are able to still be open and always growing through sponsors and through going the extra mile to give them as much exposure as possible. We have our sponsors present in all exhibition and event areas. We have our sponsors in our world to our events, SEL events listing, social media. We give them as much exposure as we can. And that's how we are able to gather and maintain sponsors. And that's how we are able to reach financial sustainability, because donations will never be enough. That's how we do that. I think that this is something that in life to be able to sustain a. I've seen many wonderful projects closing because of that, because they don't have a business model that that will allow them to live in the long run. So there's an initial investment, then after some time the project dies because it can't be sustained. So this is how we do it, by getting sponsors and going the extra mile to give them as much exposure as possible. In Second Life, there are many art galleries. Now we even have many art galleries in Second Life that only show AI art. In the Center for the Arts, we don't have an exhibition, we have content. We have technical and cultural content. We talk about art as personal development. We give those examples of art being used to build bridges and a tool for healing. And so we do that, and then we have the art content. And the art content that we have, Second Life art, real life art, always growing. We'll be opening new galleries. But it's mostly art that is being produced in Second Life by artists in Second Life. Only very experienced artists, but also beginners. In fact, in the Astro Lab, most of the artists that we exhibit are having their first exhibition in Second Life. With them, we help them prepare their first exhibition. We help them with everything they need, and we give them their first exhibition. And we have, for example, one of our team members, Sydney, she is today the curator of the Astrolab Gallery, and she had her first exhibition in the Astrolab. She's a fantastic photographer, a photographer in real life, and she had an incredible exhibition, and she liked the center, and she wanted to go and had ideas about the center, and we invited her to be the curator. She is today the curator of the Astrolab Gallery. So this is what I've seen today, Center for Arts. Second Life mostly, also life art. We are going to have more of that, but also always more in the future, cultural content, and also some instructional technical content for people who want to learn visual composition, the use of light and shadow, for example. How to build a community. We started in November 2024, and the group had 3 or 4 members, and today we have over 360 members. We have to work on many levels to attract people to the Center for the Arts. Second Life is full of people who are doing tons of different things, and we have to reach as many people as we can. Uh, People who may feel interested about visiting the Center for the Arts, and they might bring a friend, they might enter the photo contest, and so on. All the events that we do, we post them on SC's listing. We share announcements in art and music related groups, given our events usually have music, also usually live music. And then we use social media, especially Facebook. It's the social media that I feel works more for Second Life. And because we are talking about a large community of photographers. Um, People in Second Life seek not only to share their photos, but to share places they visited and so on. It ends up being a social media as well, very important for Flickr users. The monthly photo contests are naturally a big magnet for new people to come. Yeah, every month we have some new people entering our photo contests, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, joining our photo contest, new people, and then they bring their friends to see their photo, to see their photos, and to vote. So this helps the community grow. The Snapshot Gallery, a gallery that we opened in August, is a new concept of gallery, as I mentioned, that exhibits 12 different photographers every month. 12 photos from 12 photographers. Many of them are having their first exhibition as well. So this gallery also brings new people to discover the photo contest. They come first because of that, and then they visit the other spaces in the center. Then some may enter the photo contest. It's some work every month to bring people to the center. It's a work every month. The Center for the Arts is still at the beginning. I mentioned we have the objective of one day having a Center for the Arts in the world and having in more than one location, and using this project as a bridge between those locations and helping people having some art or cultural event in their neighborhood, be it in Alaska or be it in Poland, anywhere else. So there are objectives we want to pursue that have them in the radar, and then we have other objectives that we have at a shorter distance, the next steps. So the next we are taking, we can talk about them. We are, for example, having a life art project right now. Several real life artists are creating an art piece with the same theme for us to prepare an exhibition of those art pieces here in Second Life at the center, and then they will have in space in a small gallery at another scene. So this was already prepared with another scene that was one of our partners. So that's one project that we are working on. We have the concept of the art fair that we created in October, and we want to develop more of the art fair. So we are working to develop the concept of what is the art fair, so that the next one will be even better than the first. And we will be opening more art galleries. And at some point, the Astrolite will no longer have that gallery that it has now. That gallery will be moved to another space, and the Astrolab we'll be able to have more content about what is going on with the art, projects of art in real life, um, projects involving children, and so on, so that we can have all that there. And we have one big project as well that we are preparing for uh, and it revolves around the peace day. So we want to have a project that will be a community project with anyone who wants to participate and give like a piece of the puzzle for something that we are going to create. Um, Details will be shared in our group, and so this is the objectives, the future projects in the near future for 2026. And that was it.
This is just so exciting, Cesar. I kept kind of thinking of the word connections. You're making so many connections between people, both in the physical world and in the virtual world, creating their art and exploring the potential for art of all kinds, both physically and virtually in 3D. So as I was thinking, it seems that you're doing a lot of collaboration with different groups and people. And for me, the Community Virtual Library has a music library. Later, I'd love to talk to you about collaborating, where some of your musicians might be able to come and perform there and get even more exposure. How do you feel about those kinds of collaborations? Is that an important part of your vision for the Center of the Arts?
Yes, that's exactly what we want we want to have that kind of collaboration and partnerships so that we can reach more people and we can help other projects reach more people so that we all help each other. I don't know if anyone may have a question.
Feel free to type it in local chat or use voice. I think, Cesar, you've shown some great examples of how you can do things in the virtual world that you cannot do in the physical world that make it so engaging and immersive. And also that you can do this on a global scale. I think you mentioned the country of Scotland, but do you have a lot of other people in various countries around the world that you are connecting?
Well, Scotland, we have one of our, let's call it, resident musicians is from Scotland. We actually have people interested in looking for that moment when we are able to help them prepare, plan, and prepare and host an art event in their community. We already have people waiting. Like we are waiting.
Okay. Do you mean in their community in the virtual world or in the physical
In
world
the
or
real
both?
world,
Oh,
in
in
the
the
physical
physical
world.
world. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. And I see another question in the chat. I'm curious, Cesar, about your thoughts regarding that interconnective thread in Second Life. I've found people and organizations have their silos and they're not interested in branching out and connecting with others in common cause. How have you found a way to transcend that limitation?
Yes, that is true. You do you do find that in Second Life, and there are many reasons for that. I mean, you have people that are able to, for example, have a successful business in Second Life without having had a successful business in real life. And it's easier to have a successful business in Second Life. So they can be very close. And they never had the experience that you have in real life having a business that you have to maintain good relations with everybody and open for opportunities. In Second Life, you also have groups that are a bit closed because of the language. That's one of the barriers. People who don't speak English in Second Life, they tend to be close in their group, Italians, Germans, and so on. Well, there I have an advantage because I speak several language and I can understand even more languages. There are languages that I can't be so eloquent uh, speaking, but I can understand, like Italian or German, and I can speak Portuguese and Spanish. I understand Russian. I can speak French as well. So um, that's I'm very lucky because it helps me many times.
I can imagine so. That's a great way to transcend those barriers where you're talking about building bridges. That's wonderful. But I also something you said struck me when you mentioned helping people who don't feel like they're creative or they've never really done any art. For beginners, you strive to help people learn how to take creative risks. How do you do
Yes.
that?
Well, there are many ways that you can do that. Well, first, you need to help people believe in themselves. They are very insecure. People don't want to fail, want to feel bad, and so the first thing that it's important is to help people believe in themselves, feeling good about themselves and believe in themselves, and believe in what they do. And it's more important to first, when you critique something, to first be aware of what is being well done, and then kind of point the way of the way that they can go or they can follow to increase their knowledge in this, to learn about that, and that is very important. And I can say that I have helped a lot of people to start making photography in Second Life. Um, I know of one case who, that person today, her real life career is photography, and they started to become curious about photography in Second Life, and it's a life changing for that person to be able to have that career. And um, I have seen that in many areas, in many fields, people who don't have, they might be curious, they might like something, but they feel I don't have the talent for it. And if you like it, then you should do it. You should believe in yourself and never give up. So we try to do that, and we want to try to do that more. We plan to have the the workshops for drawing because I have seen I can draw very well since I was very young, and I saw many people who would like to draw. They thought I'd just be able to do it, and just with a few guidelines, and they are surprised what they can do, and they start believing in themselves.
That is just a wonderful positive attitude. And I know when I visited, I learned that you have a lot of contests going on, but also maybe some classes. And as an educator, the educators here might be interested in this. You also teach people to take those creative risks. And I remember seeing something about teaching them about light and shadow, for example. Could you tell us a little bit about classes?
Yes, yes. So we had classes when we had the art fair. So we had several classes in the art fair about composition, photography composition, color theory, and so on. We even had classes about using the Firestorm for making photos. Um, but we plan to have workshops um, about drawing, and it's actually an idea that Sydney brought one day. Sydney, who I mentioned, she had a first exhibition with us, and today she's the curator of of the Astrolab Gallery. There was one idea that she brought one day that it's still being matured, but it's like a challenge regarding photography in Second Life, but creating like a monthly challenge, not a competition, not a contest, but let's see how we can develop this concept, how we can respond to this challenge. So that's something that is also being thought. And the center is of anyone who wants to give any classes or workshops on building or this or that. Uh, the space is there to be used.
That's really great. And I'm sitting here thinking about how educational this is, to be able to allow people to explore their creativity in this new way in 3D, bringing both physical world types of art into the virtual world. And when I visited, I brought the ACRL Virtual Worlds Interest Group. I believe it was like last September. And I remember that we walked around to very designated areas. Can you tell us a little bit about how you designed that, so you know where you're in the photo area or in the area about drawing or different kinds of artistic areas? Is that the way you set up the Center for the Arts?
The way that I set it up, so starting with the ground level, I placed the first building, the Astrolab, and in front of the Astrolab, you can walk and you go to a concert area. In the concert area, we have events when you open the voting for the photo contest. The way the photo contest work, it's like this. The person who wishes to enter the photo contest makes the photo, places on a note card, and drops in a mailbox that we have. After the deadline, we place all the photos on the line. And that's the best part of the photo contest. It's all the photos on display. Right now we have 39 photos. The past month, the free theme, an open theme, and we have 39 photos on display, completely different photos. And that's the best part of the photo contest, the display of all the entries. The entries stay there and to be seen and to be voted on popular voting and to be evaluated by the judges, because we have a panel of judges. So when the voting, we have a live music event. And that area of the concert area is connected to the area where the photos are on display. So this all on the ground level. We have the Astrolab that has all the informative content and an exhibition, and then the concert and the photo contest display area. And then because this is Second Life and we have frames, but we have a limited space, then we have the rest in the air in platforms. And we have the snapshot gallery and the performing arts theater. And we have an area which is the art fair, that the art fair is an event. It has a beginning date and an end date. So we held it in October and November. And it will be there again. One day we will open the art fair again in that area. And we will have other art galleries also on forms on the air, boxes on the air that can be accessible. We have teleporters between them. Anyone can access any space.
That's such a great example of creating a really good design. So there's a flow of traffic and balancing it being things that remain the same there where you know what you're going to see, but also being dynamic and having a lot of change with new contests coming all of the time. And so I can imagine you've needed to get a lot of help to keep all that going. And this has just been a really great talk. I do have a couple things I want to say before we continue our conversation with more informal questions. I want to remind everybody that we have our YouTube channel, so you can revisit this talk. We also have a copy of Cesar's slides over on the deck with all the other expert series slides, so you can come back and revisit this. And I just need to make a couple quick announcements before we continue our questions. This summer, we're going to be having a special event called the Community Fair. And every one of you are invited to this. We're going to have a few events that around this theme of communities this summer, including the kickoff for the VWEC Community Fair on May 16th at 11 a.m. Second Life time. You can create a display to share what you do, such as Cesar's Center for the Arts. And if you look over to the side over here towards the water, you'll see a kiosk. That's the size of each community fair kiosk where you can set up what it is that you bring to Second Life. You'll have a display to share what you do to support education in virtual worlds. And that's going to be set up May 9th through 15th. And then it'll be open from May 16th through August 15th, 2026 throughout the summer. The registration closes Monday, April 13th, and I'm putting the sign up in the local chat if you'd like to have a kiosk to be part of the VWEC Summer Fair. Please know that we welcome new volunteers here to help the VWEC. The Virtual Worlds Education Consortium is open to anyone interested in teaching and learning in virtual worlds. That's academics, professors, teachers, lifelong learners, artists, musicians, people who want to share their creativity and help others. Our next expert series speaker is going to be a panel. It will be led by Murat Gulnaz, and it's going to be the experiences of former students who are now members of the Chaw University VR Lab team, reflecting on their journey from virtual reality learners to professionals, contributing to immersive education and innovation. And that panel will be held on March 13th at 1 o'clock, Second Life time, right here at the VWEC Fireside Deck. If you want to see all of our events for VWEC, you can go to the VWEC Plaza events calendar. I'll put it in the local chat. It's also on the calendars tab of our website. I'll put our YouTube channel here in the local chat, as well as a link to all of our social media. I really want to thank you, Cesar, for this really informative and interesting session on bringing arts into Second Life. If any of you do want to volunteer for VWEC, you can contact me, Val Librarian Greg, or Sue Moon Magic, the leader of our info center. And I do want to highly encourage you to get your communities into our directories and databases. You can IM me later if you're not in the directory, because we strive to share what all of you offer in Second Life. So at this time, I'm going to invite everybody to, yeah, thank you, Cesar, and I hope you'll stick around for some more questions. We like to kind of stand up and walk to the other end of the deck for a little bit more of an informal time where people can just get comfortable and talk and ask some questions of you. So I'm going to stand up, and it's this way if you all will follow me. Be thinking of your questions for Cesar.